Tonight on Week 3 of the Fox 14 Press Box, the Carthage Tigers welcome in COC rival Webb City, aiming to stay perfect through their first 4 games. Lamar and Nevada renew the Silver Tiger rivalry, with just one of them leaving the night with a perfect record still intact. The Columbus Titans aim for revenge against Girard, less than a year after the Trojans ended their undefeated season in the first round of the playoffs. Galena hosts a classic CNC rivalry game against Riverton, and the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons host Washburn Rural, aiming to bounce back from their first loss of the season. This is the 4 states' only 30-minute high school football highlights show. This is Week 3 of the Fox 14 Press Box, and it starts right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome into Week 3 of Press Box here on Fox 14. Fox 14 Sports Director Jacob Leonard. Here beside me, like every week, is Danny Terzer.
This week is a big week for rivalry games in Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri. We'll start tonight's show in Carthage with a matchup of 2 of the best programs in Missouri.
The Tigers welcome in the Webb City Cardinals tonight. Now, Carthage aims for a 4-0 start, while the Cardinals try to win their 3rd straight. First Webb City drive, Luke Gall. Check him out. Nice play to stop the Cards on 4th and 2. Gall then proceeds to dominate the rest of the first quarter. Just 2 plays later, huge hole for Gall. He gets through and gets outside. 59-yard touchdown. Carthage up 7, but Gall not done. Caden Cabance gives it off to Gall here. This one, a 13-yard touchdown. His 2nd of the quarter, but let's get one more. Gall 5-yard score here. He gets 3 in the first. Tigers lead the Cardinals 21-0 going to the 2nd. Now, Webb City gets on the board. First play of the 2nd quarter. Cole Vaden keeps it. Busts off a 45-yard score. Cuts the Carthage lead to 21-7. Story of the first half, though, turnovers for Webb City. Silas Browning, interception for Carthage. Cardinals turn it over 4 times in the half. Tigers up 21-7 at the break. Now, first play of the second half. Caden Cabance, the Carthage quarterback. Huge play here. 83 yards for Cabance. This pushes the Carthage lead to 28-7. The Tigers dominate Webb City tonight to stay unbeaten, 42-14. The Joplin Eagles are also at home tonight for a COC rivalry game, hosting the Carl Junction Bulldogs.
Joplin is a perfect 3-0 coming into the night, including wins over Webb City and Nixa. The Bulldogs try to go into Joplin tonight and hand the Eagles their first loss. Joplin leading with a few minutes left in the first half, facing 4th down, always right. Looks like he's going to the far side, but he finds Landon Atherton.
How do you get that wide
open in the end zone? Eagles extend their lead to 18 points. Joplin starts the second half with the ball right. Keeps it this time, finds some space on the outside. He's in for another Eagles touchdown, 30-6 now. CJ trying to get some momentum here. The pass bobbled a few times, and Luke Weisselmeyer manages to hold onto it. Joplin will score on the resulting possession, and then with the ball back once again, this time it's CJ with the interception. Kyler Stewart makes a great catch on the Eagles sideline, but the Bulldogs never really able to get the offense going, and Joplin stays perfect with a 44-6 win. In the Big 8 this evening, Nevada hosts Lamar in the latest edition of the Silver Tiger rivalry.
Both of these teams have been on fire to start the season. They both enter the night 3-0, and both of them have been lighting up the scoreboard. Nevada averaging 50 points per game coming into this one, while Lamar posting 43 per contest. First quarter, big push up the middle for Austin Wilkerson. He's in for the score. Lamar strikes first. On to the second quarter now. Trace Wilhite getting it done on the ground. Goes to the far side and scores. Lamar jumps out to a 14-0 lead, but Wilhite not done there. This time, he's on the receiving end of this from Joel Beshore. Touchdown there. Lamar takes a 21-0 lead into the break. Lamar wins the rivalry game tonight, 48-22. Staying in the Big 8, the Seneca Indians on the road against East Newton tonight. Seneca 2-1, trying to bounce back from their first loss of the year. Indians roll by East Newton this evening, 35-7. In Southeast Kansas, the Girard Trojans host the Columbus Titans tonight, aiming for a 3-0 start after beating Colgan and Baxter Springs in the first 2 weeks.
These two teams played twice last season. Columbus beat Girard in the regular season before the Trojans turned around and knocked undefeated Columbus out of the playoffs in the first round. The Titans tried to return the favor this time and hand the Trojans their first loss, picking this one up in the second quarter. Little trickery here, Titans with the double pass hauled in by Caden Cox. That cuts the score to 28-12 Girard. Then Ethan Davidson receives the kick, finds a hole and returns it all the way to the house. All that Titans momentum just stops right there, sends the Trojans into the half with a 22-point lead. To start off the second half, Brock Scales with a big-time pass deflection here to force fourth down, and finds Girard takes over and finds their way to the red zone and hands it off to Ethan Merrill here. He finds space, takes it in for a touchdown to extend the lead to 28. And then Christian Taylor with a huge sack for the Trojans. Girard just keeps finding the end zone. They win this one 47-26.
The Chanute Blue Comets fresh off a big win over Pittsburgh, aiming for back-to-back wins on the road against Jefferson West. Chanute wins big tonight 37-8. The Blue Comets remain on the road next week facing the Ulysses Tigers. Well, that brings us to our first break here on Press Box. When we come back, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons aim to bounce back from last week's loss to Chanute.
Plus, Galena and Riverton meet tonight in a CNC showdown. We'll have those highlights and a lot more when we come back.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons are 1-1 through the first 2 weeks of the season. Last week, the Purple Dragons suffered their first loss, falling to former SEK rival Chanute 21-7. Pittsburgh stays at home this week, aiming to bounce back against Washburn Rural. Rural receives the opening kickoff. Kentis Adams back there to receive for the Blues. He takes it deep into Purple Dragons territory. They would go on to score. Pittsburgh down 7 early. Purple Dragons respond though. Cooper Hayden pitches it out to Grant Rolfs. Rolfs escapes down the sideline for the touchdown. Home team ties the game up at 7. Trying to take the lead here, Rolfs again. He'll get outside, doesn't score, but it is a nice game, but that would set up this. Later in the drive, Hayden keeps it up the middle. Pittsburgh grabs its first lead. The Dragons defense strong throughout the night. Jonah Hunziker here sniffs out the run for the big stop. They only allow 19. That was still too many. Washburn Rural tops Pittsburgh tonight 19-17. The Parsons Vikings hit the road tonight facing Prairie View. Parsons 2-0 coming into the night, just their second 2-0 start in the last 10 years. Tonight the Vikings fall to Prairie View 38-14. Parsons is back home next week hosting district rival Galena.
The Fort Scott Tigers play their SEK League opener tonight against Independence. The Tigers trying to pick up their first win of the year. Fort Scott, though, shut out tonight. Indy wins 28-0. The Tigers stay at home next Friday hosting former league rival Pittsburgh. The Riverton Rams are off to a hot start this season. Riverton is 2-0 in their first 2 games and have outscored their opponents 84-20. The Rams travel a few miles down the road tonight trying to stay perfect in a CNC rivalry game against Galena. A close game in the third. Rams ball. Pass goes to Luke Perry over there for the score. Riverton within 2 at that point. And then in the fourth, Galena closes it out. Quarterback Brett Sarwinski keeps it. He will get into the end zone, have the 2-point conversion, and the Galena lead is back to 10. After an interception, Bulldogs ball again. Sarwinski got to work for it this time, but he crosses the goal line again. And Galena pulls away from Riverton late to win 42-24.
The Neosho Wildcats on the road against Branson tonight, trying to pick up their first win of the season. Branson, though, too much for Neosho. Pirates take it 58-28. Neosho is back home next week. They got another tough one hosting the Nixa Eagles. The McDonald County Mustangs suffered their first loss of the season last week, falling to Lamar 31-7. Tonight, the Mustangs return home, looking to bounce back against Monette. Now, Monette is 1-2, picking up their first win last week against East Newton. McDonald County making plays on defense early. Cole Martin gets the interception. Now it's 3-0 Mustangs. They add to it here. Pass goes to Cross Dowd in the corner. Home team gets the lead to double digits, but Monette responds in a big way before half. Corbin McCauley into the end zone for the rushing score. That cuts the lead to 3. Cubs actually go up 14-10 at half, but the Mustangs get 21 unanswered in the second half to top the Cubs 31-14. The Diamond Wildcats on the road this evening against Miller. Diamond 2-1, trying to rebound after their first loss last week. Wildcats do it big here, 35-12. Diamond is back on the road next week, facing Marionville.
Coming up next, the Sarcoxy Bears aim to keep their undefeated season alive at home against Stockton. Plus, Yates Center tries to get to 3-0 against St. Paul. As we go to the break, though, here are a few more scores from tonight's action in Southwest Missouri. The Sarcoxy Bears are on a roll in their first 3 games of the season. Sarcoxy is 3-0 to start their year, outscoring their opponents by an average of 30 points per game. The Bears are at home tonight in Week 4, trying to stay perfect against the Stockton Tigers. On the 1-yard line, Jay Baxter hands it off to Lane Colvin. He walks it in on the far side. 2-point conversion is good, and Stockton leads 8-0. Sarcoxy now. A ball comes out here. Kevin Lopez is able to recover it to keep possession for the Bears. And then Blake Heckmaster, he gets some good yardage here right down the middle. 13 yards to be exact to move the Bears down the field. Continuing the drive in the second quarter, Bears in striking distance. Jerome Malott flips it to Ethan Lee going the other way. It won't be enough though. Sarcoxy turns it over on downs, but the Bears come back to win this one, 28-20. In the Big 8 here, the Aurora Hound Dogs try to make it 3 straight wins against Mount Vernon. Aurora takes down the Mountaineers 26-7. The Hound Dogs are now 3-1 on the season, while Mount Vernon is still searching for its first win.
I've been waiting for this all show long. All right, this moment right here. All right, we're going to talk about my hometown, Yates Center Wildcats. Now, normally Yates Center is playing a long way away. We can't make it there, so we have to show their score on a full screen or whatever. But tonight, Yates Center is playing just down the road in St. Paul, so we actually got some video this evening. Yates Center aims for a 3-0 start to the year. That's right, St. Paul, fresh off a big win over Oswego. Wildcats didn't waste any time in this one. First play of the game, quarterback Sean Hurst going to his right. Dumps it off to Carter Burton. Burton breaks a tackle, sets them up at the 5-yard line. The very next play, Hurst calls his own number, puts the Wildcats up 6-0. Yates Center finding themselves in the red zone again. This one, give off to Shane Weber. He punches it in for the Wildcats. Then Yates Center scores another one. Hurst takes it in himself. 2-point conversion makes it 22-0. Check out this run here. Hurst again keeps it himself, hits the defender with the stiff arm, takes it in for a 55-yard touchdown. This one, all Yates Center, they take it 52-6. We have some, I'm not done talking about Yates Center, okay? 3-0. Terzer, 52-6. They're 3-0. Check this out. For the first time since 1969. You didn't think I was going to let that slide, did you?
I mean, any chance to talk about Yates Center, you got it.
Right. See, you're learning quickly. First time since 1969, they're 3-0. Congratulations, Yates Center Wildcats. Now we can go back to that full screen there. Tri-Valley action here tonight. First up, Caney Valley tries to stay perfect on the road against Erie. No problem for Caney. Bullpups get to 3-0 with a 36-0 win. Check this game out. Fredonia at home against Cherryville. This one took 4 overtime periods. Everybody got their money's worth, but Fredonia edges out Cherryville 28-22. One more out of the Tri-Valley. Humboldt looking for back-to-back wins after a close one over Fredonia last week. Tonight, Cubs rolling a shutout 56-0. Next Friday, Humboldt hits the road in league play to face Eureka.
Time for our final break here on Press Box. When we come back, we're heading to Oklahoma with the Commerce Tigers trying to stay unbeaten at home. Plus, we'll open up voting for this week's Performance of the Week. First, though, here are a few more scores from Southeast Kansas.
Welcome back to our final segment here on Press Box. Time to get to Oklahoma now, and a hot start for the Commerce Tigers.
Commerce is 2-0 to begin the season with wins over Galena and Chelsea. Both of those games, the Tigers won by more than 25 points. Commerce welcomes in the Kiefer Trojans tonight, trying for a 3-0 start. In the first, Trojans with the ball, Merrick Matheson hauls it towards the end zone. Jackson Worley gets up for it to make the catch. Extra point is no good. Kiefer up 6-0. In the second, Kiefer driving, Matheson keeps the ball and pushes his way into the end zone. Trojans up 12-0 now. Later on the Commerce punt, Tate Rader picks it up to the outside. He shakes off a few defenders before getting all the way to the end zone. Kiefer finishes this one out 28-20.
How about the Fairland Owls so far? First season under head coach Jimmy Hudson. They're 2-0 with wins over Afton and Liberty. They haven't allowed a single point coming into the night. Tonight, Fairland did give up some points to Salina or Selena. Is it Salina or Selena? I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, they're the Wildcats. Owls suffer their first loss 35-8. Fairland remains on the road next week facing the Ketchum Warriors.
We're almost out of time here on Press Box, but a couple of things before we go. First, our poll is now open for Performance of the Week.
Here are the options tonight. Is it the Carthage Tigers, 42-14 win over Webb City to get to 4-0, or the Yates Center Wildcats? I know some people are watching. I know the hometown's going to show up for this. First 3-0 start since 1969, or the Girard Trojans, 47-26 win over Columbus. They're 3-0 to start the year. All you got to do, go to koamnewsnow.com/vote. This poll will be open until Sunday morning.
Also, local college football tomorrow. Both Pittsburg State and Missouri Southern in action on the road. Missouri Southern faces Central Oklahoma, aiming for their first win of the season. Pittsburg State hits the road against Northeastern State. Both of those teams are 1-1 in the first 2 weeks of the season. Northeastern State beat Missouri Southern last week to snap a 25-game losing streak. So the Gorillas know the Riverhawks are riding high right now and will be ready for tomorrow night.
I think anytime you play the Gorillas, you're going to get everybody's best shot. So they're going to be thinking about that, and we're just going to have to play our game. We're going to have to get back to what we do. But they show an impressive performance against Missouri Southern, and we're just going to have to keep them in a pin and do what we do.
Both of those games, by the way, begin at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. That's all the time we have here tonight. If you missed anything, you can check out all of our highlights later tonight on the sports page at koamnewsnow.com. You can also watch a full replay of the show on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on the 4-state CW. Now, don't forget to vote for the Performance of the Week. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for college highlights and scores. For now, though, we're done. She's Danny. I'm Jacob. We'll see you for week 4 of Press Box right here next Friday.